up guys, EJ here, back with another video, and today it's going to be my weekly movie review roundup, episode 11. So yeah, I watched 7 films this week. Call it a bad sequel week, because there's a lot of bad sequels in here. There is one gem though in the middle of the week which I was really looking forward to watching, and I was not disappointed, but I'll get to that soon. So yeah, starting out the week, on February 7th, last Sunday, I watched Sinister 2, directed by Kieran Foy. Now, I was a big fan of the first Sinister film. I thought it was a really good, creepy horror film with an interesting premise, and the demon Bagul was a cool looking character, and the whole vibe of the movie was just really good and creepy. One of the best horror films I thought of 2012. But this film is sort of terrible. It only answers the question, whatever happened to Shannon Sossman? She plays a mother of 2 young boys, and of course the youngest boy is really creepy and talks to ghosts, that kind of stuff. She's hiding out in a farmhouse, trying to escape her abusive husband, and yeah, a farmhouse where it used to be one of the scenes of one of these family murders. We see a bunch of the old grainy footage of families doing normal activities like painting the kitchen or whatever, or having a picnic, stuff like that. And then of course the tables turn. Bagul appears sort of in the shadows. Actually, I don't think he does in this film. In those video clips, and then of course the family gets murdered somehow. Yeah, this film really was quite terrible, just sort of borrowing the name of Sinister, I thought. In fact, I don't understand how the demon Bagul was even involved in this film at all, because he just shows up in just people's like visions, scary visions, as they investigate noises around the corner in a barn, that kind of stuff. He just appears out of nowhere just to scare the audience. But yeah, it was really quite terrible. Shannon Sossman, poor girl. I remember her from like films like A Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger, which I like a lot, and 40 Days and 40 Nights. Silly sex comedy with Josh Hartnett. But yeah, whatever happened to Shannon Sossman? Well, Sinister 2, here you go. Okay, moving on to Monday, February 8th, I watched Hitman Agent 47, directed by Alexander Bach. Yeah, did we really need another Hitman film? Yeah, the first one was okay. It wasn't great. I liked Timothy Olyphant as the Hitman, the title character. Of course, it's based on the video game. Rupert Friend plays Agent 47 in this film, and in this one he's trying to find the father of a woman. He's the one responsible for creating the agents of the agent program. Not much to write home about in this film, to be honest. Agent 47, was it terrible? No, but it wasn't very good either. So I'm not really going to talk about it that much. I gave Agent 47 a 6 out of 10, and I forgot to mention I gave Sinister 2 a 5 out of 10. Alright, moving on to Tuesday, February 9th. I watched The Martian. I was really looking forward to seeing this film. I love films about space exploration, and I'm a huge fan of Ridley Scott and Matt Damon. So yeah, The Martian, based on the book by Andy Weir. I got the book from my sister for Christmas. She hasn't read it yet, but I was really looking forward to seeing this film, and I was not disappointed at all. Absolutely loved it. Of course, Matt Damon plays Mark Watney, an astronaut who gets left behind on Mars during one of the first manned missions to Mars. During a storm, he gets separated from his crew, and he's presumed dead. So the crew leaves without him, and then he survives the storm, what knocked him out basically, and then he basically has to figure out a way to signal Earth. And while he's doing that, he has to find a way to survive on Mars for upwards of 4 or 5 years um, with very little supplies. It's a really great film. Absolutely wonderful performance by Matt Damon. Really funny, great spirit. Shows great intelligence in the way he grows the potatoes, and how he sort of sciences the shit out of the rover and that kind of stuff. That's a great line when he says that. Yeah, this whole film just had a wonderful spirit that I really liked throughout the movie. The cast is fantastic. Um, what's the name? Jessica Chastain plays the crew commander. You've got really good actors like Michael Pena and Kate Mara, who are part of the crew as well. But it's also the stuff going on the ground back at NASA, which was really interesting as well. Jeff Daniels was wonderful as the director of NASA. Chiwetel Ejiofor was really good as the Mars mission specialist. Sean Bean was really good as well as the Hermes flight director. The Hermes is the name of the ship that the crew is flying on from Earth to Mars and Mars to Earth. Who else was in it? Kristen Wiig was fantastic as the NASA media relations person. I really enjoyed even the Little Wool by Donald Glover. If you watch Community, you know who Donald Glover is. A good comedian as well. Yeah, the entire cast is just fantastic, and like I said, the whole spirit of the movie. There's like there's not a cynical bone in the body of The Martian. So many action movies, sci-fi films, dramas, one way or another, there's sort of a cynical part to the film, and I found it really refreshing that this film had none of that. There's a little bit of tension between Jeff Daniels and Sean Bean about certain events and how they're going to get back and rescue Matt Damon's character and that kind of stuff. But there's also a feeling about this film that I have is that it really sort of gave me hope for NASA in general, because NASA is kind of falling short, to put it honestly. I mean, we went to the moon back in the late 60s and we haven't been back since. If you believe some people, there are actually some who believe that we have sent people to Mars in the secret space program, if you are aware of that kind of stuff. But the truth is, we should be exploring planets. We basically disbanded the whole rocket program. What has NASA become now in real life? These are the kind of films that I love, that sort of open up the imagination about what NASA and what space exploration should be like. So that's why I really love this film. Ridley Scott's Mars looked absolutely fantastic, beautiful looking movie from beginning to end. Yeah, it was really funny. I kind of understand why it got nominated in all the comedy categories at the Golden Globes, even though it's obviously not a comedy. It's very much a drama, but it does have lots of great humor in the movie, and that was part of the spirit of the film that I'm talking about. So yeah, I absolutely love The Martian. If you haven't seen it, definitely worth checking out. The highlight of my week, and for me, it's my second favorite film of 2015 so far. I gave The Martian 9 out of 10. Alright guys, moving on to Wednesday, February 10th. I watched Maze Runner, the Scorch Trials. So yeah, if you saw my February, my birthday Blu-ray DVD update, and saw that I picked up the first Maze Runner movie, which I liked a lot. This one, not so much. Yeah, the Scorch Trials, the film pretty much starts off where the last film ended, with what's his name, Dylan O'Brien, who plays Thomas. He and his friends have been rescued, and they're being put in this facility that's all got tons of security and bolted doors and all that kind of stuff. They think they're safe. They're being fed and all that kind of stuff, and it's run by a shady character played by Aidan Gillen, who of course plays Littlefinger in Game of Thrones. So that was really the only fun part about Maze Runner Scorch Trials for me, was seeing Aidan Gillen in a different role. But yeah, he's a pretty shady character in this film as well. Littlefinger is awesome in Game of Thrones. So yeah, the Thomas and his friends realize that something's not right about this place. They're in fact, Patricia Clarkson returns as well. She's part of Wicked, and they're farming these young adults, their blood, to somehow fight this viral outbreak, disease, or whatever that has zombies or rabid humans, whatever, running around chasing people out in the Scorch, a desert, barren wasteland. And that's pretty much the rest of the film and all you need to know. Truth is, I fell asleep at the end of this film, so I don't really remember what the hell happened, or didn't even see what happened towards the end. But I hear there's going to be another sequel, so I'll probably have to get this film and watch it again. To be honest, I wasn't really that impressed. Like I said, the only parts I liked were the beginning with Littlefinger. Okay, and so the Maze Runner, The Scorch Trials, I gave a 6 out of 10, which was pretty generous. The first Maze Runner, I gave a 7 out of 10. Okay, moving on to Thursday, February 11th, I watched another sequel, or a reboot if you like, and that is The Transporter Refueled, directed by Camille Delamare. Ed Skrein takes over the role of Frank Martin, which of course was played by the awesome Jason Statham in the first 3 Transporter films. Now, the first Transporter film I'm a big fan of, but the 2 sequels were not that great. So again, my question is, did we really need a new Transporter film with a new actor? My answer is basically no. But it wasn't terrible. I liked Ray Stevenson as Frank Martin's father. He was fun, and the plot of the film takes place in the south of France, in the French Riviera. These four women who are prostitutes, who have been in prostitution under a Russian kingpin, are getting their revenge by going around robbing from his associates, and they're using Frank Martin and his driving skills to get them around, and of course they kidnap his father and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, the girls were cute. I like the girls in the blonde wigs. Nothing wrong with that. The main girl is played by Lone Chabanel, a French and Vietnamese actress. She was pretty good, but she's always like mugging to the camera every chance she gets. So it wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. I kind of dug it in certain aspects. So the Transporter Refueled, I gave a 6 out of 10. Alright, moving on to Friday, February 12th, I watched another sequel, and that was Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension, directed by Gregory Plotkin. Of course, I believe the 6th Paranormal Activity film we have now. Yeah, do we really need this Paranormal Activity film every year? Much like we got like 7 or 8 Saw films. I do like the Paranormal Activity franchise. I especially still like the first movie. And I've basically watched and bought all the Paranormal Activity films up until this point, and I will probably buy this film as well. Yeah, it takes place in 2013. A young husband and wife are living in a very nice house with their young daughter, creepy daughter, of course, Layla, who likes to talk to ghosts again. They're living there with the husband's brother and his girlfriend, fiance, whatever, and they stumble across this old video camera which somehow can pick up the spiritual realm, if you like. I'm not sure if it's really the spirit realm or the ghost dimension, but it sees kind of weird distortions in the air. That was probably the only cool thing about this Paranormal Activity was seeing Toby, of course, the demon that's been present throughout the Paranormal Activity films, seeing his form and like this black sort of shadowy figure, and getting to see him on camera, because in the other films all we just see is his effect on people and objects and stuff like that. That's what we always would see in the other Paranormal Activity films, but this time we actually see what he sort of looks like in his form and the way he moves. So there was some cool moments with that, and of course it goes back to this stuff happening back in the early '90s with the young girls from all the other I'm not sure how they relate to the other Paranormal Activity films and the whole witches coven and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, there's actually a cool moment when the girls they're watching an old videotape back in the '90s, and the girl is like describing what's happening in the present. That was kind of cool. But it's the usual Paranormal Activity stuff. Everybody gets their gets killed at the end, except the little girl, of course. But yeah, if you like the Paranormal Activity films, you probably will like this one in some way. I did kind of dig the whole ghost dimension part of the movie. Even still, I still give it a 5 out of 10. Okay, moving on to yesterday, Saturday, February 13th. I watched Seraphim Falls from 2006. Yeah, directed by David Von Enken, starring Liam Neeson and Pierce Brosnan. A really good Western, and I'm not going to go into it too much because I watched this movie for the Movie Reviewers 100, and this week it's Liam Neeson week. So you can check out my full review of Seraphim Falls in the link in the description down below. But yeah, good Western. Angelica Houston and Michael Wincott, Tom Noonan are in the film as well. So if you want to see my thoughts on that movie, check out the video. So there you have it, 7 films for this week. I'm sure I have plenty of films to talk about next week as well. Even with the holiday tomorrow, I've got 2 films sitting on my Netflix. Well, sitting in my room right now that I'll get to tonight and tomorrow, and some more next week. So yeah, thank you for watching as always, and until next time, I'll see you.
Bond. James Bond.